Okay, so there's a lot of Laker fans who aren't happy right now. Like, they're not happy what happened in free agency, losing DFS, all the situation with LeBron, everything. So I wanted to go and take a look back at the LeBron era, the Rob Pelinka era, the whole front office, this whole era of Laker basketball, because they have won a championship. There has been some successes, but overall, it hasn't been ideal. Okay, so let's start off in 2017, and this was when the Lakers brought in the new front office group with Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka. They wanted to restore the Lakers back to greatness because prior to that, the last few years of Kobe, the Achilles, everything, they were not good. They were a bad team. They were actually the worst team in the NBA during that span. So they brought these guys in to try to fix that. And it kind of worked, but it kind of didn't. So in 2018, they obviously brought in LeBron James. That was the marquee move. But under the radar, they let Julius Randle walk. And this is a guy, they drafted him in the top 5. He was a good player. By 2018, he was averaging 16 and 8. That year, he was getting better. He was showing progress. But they just said, you know what? We're bringing in our guys. We brought in LeBron. We want to get our own guys. So they let him walk in free agency for 2 years, 18 million. He went to the Pelicans. And their reasoning was that, okay, we want to have cap space for LeBron. We want to assemble a championship roster. So we want cap space for next year. We're going to let Randall walk and it'll be okay. And kind of tied into that, they also let Brook Lopez go. They had Brook Lopez in 2018. Again, solid player. He went to the Bucks, won a championship. But they're like, you know what? We don't need Brook Lopez. We're not that close in 2019. We'll let him go. We'll try to assemble a team around LeBron. It's okay. But the problem is that they replaced a guy in Julius Randle who's very productive, very good, with Michael Beasley, who was terrible. He had a bad season with the Lakers. He wasn't good. So they decided to get off his contract. They're like, we're done with him. They packaged him in a deal with Ivica Zubac for Mike Muscala. This whole Julius Randle saga that got them Michael Beasley, that's why they traded Zubac. They couldn't keep Zubac because of Michael Beasley. And you could say that, yes, their whole strategy of saving cap space for 2019 did work because they won the championship in 2020. They brought in some good free agents in 2019, like Dwight Howard, Rondo was good, JaVale McGee. They brought in a good team. They obviously got Anthony Davis. And you could say, okay, the Randall move, the Zubac move, okay, whatever. They won a championship. It doesn't matter. And that's fine. That's fine. But just after winning the championship, they just won. Everything was going great. They decided we're going to break it up. We're going to get rid of Dwight Howard. We're not going to re-sign JaVale McGee. We're not going to keep any of these guys. We're going to replace those defensive-minded guys that are strong, big, physical, defense first. We're going to replace them with offense. We're going to get Marc Gasol. We're going to get Montrezl Harrell. And at first, you could say, okay, that's a smart idea. You want to bring in some offense. But the thing is, the Lakers' 2020 identity was defense. That was a defensive team. They were big, they were strong, they were physical, and they just completely got away from that identity. And they also said, you know what? We're going to get rid of Danny Green. We don't need him. He's getting older. He's past his prime, all that kind of stuff. So they packaged him in a deal with Jaden McDaniels, that draft pick, to get Dennis Schroeder. And yes, Dennis Schroeder was a good Laker. He played well in 2022, 2023. He played really well. But to give up Jaden McDaniels for Dennis Schroeder, looking back, like, that's not a good move. Then obviously in the 2021 offseason, you had the Russ trade and everyone's like, oh my God, they have Russ, AD, LeBron. They're going to be so good. We all know how it turned out. It wasn't good. And obviously looking back, getting rid of KCP, Kyle Kuzma, role players that were key to that team, like, it just wasn't a good idea. But the Russ trade in theory made sense because they thought, okay, we have a big three. We have Russ, AD, LeBron. That's what they thought. That was their reasoning. And you could understand that. It made sense. They were trying to get a star. Even if the reasoning wasn't good, they had some sort of reasoning for getting Russ. But this move, letting Alex Caruso walk for THT, made absolutely no sense. No sense. Okay, so they decided to sign THT to a 3-year, $32 million deal. That's 10 plus million per year for a young player who was kind of ascending, but he wasn't really doing anything yet. And they let Alex Caruso walk. They did not want to pay him more than $7 million per year. They said that they offered him like 2 years for $15 million. He didn't take it because he got 4 years for $37 from the Bulls. So basically, they let Alex Caruso walk because they didn't want to offer him more than $7 million per year. And they signed THT to a $10 plus million deal per year. It doesn't make sense. And obviously, this move didn't work out. The next offseason, they traded THT. He wasn't as good. He didn't show as much signs as they thought he did. And they got in Patrick Beverley, like, solid player, but the fact that you let Alex Caruso walk to bring in Patrick Beverley, basically, like, it just, dumb move. And then as I talked about before with trading Danny Green and Jaden McDaniels to get Dennis Schroeder, he was good with the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder had a good Laker career. He was a solid player. They made it to the Western Conference Finals, all of that. But they decided to then let Dennis Schroeder walk in free agency to bring in Gabe Vincent on a 3-year, $30+ million deal. Like, obviously, you don't know that a first-round pick's going to be that good. You don't know that Jaden McDaniels is going to pan out into the player that he's become. But the fact that they basically gave up Jaden McDaniels to get Gabe Vincent after 2 years, like, these moves just didn't end well. And then that offseason, they obviously drafted Jalen Hood-Schifino over Jaime Jaquez, Cam Whitmore, Pods from the Warriors. Like, there were so many options in that range of the draft that everyone was talking about. And they're like, no, we're going to take Hood-Schifino. And obviously, it didn't work out. He barely played for them. He left after a year or two. just a complete disaster. And then obviously you have the DFS move, which was a good move. They brought in DFS, they put him around AD, LeBron, then obviously they got in Luka, but the DFS move was a good move at the time, but then they just let him walk in free agency to the Rockets. And yes, you could say they brought in Jake LaRavia, they want to have a longer time horizon with Luka, all this different stuff, but he wasn't getting paid that much. He got paid $14 million by the Rockets. That's not that much. And Luka loves him. So if you're trying to build around Luka and then you're getting rid of the guy that he's used to playing with, like, again, doesn't exactly make sense. And I know there's going to be some people that are like, oh my God, well, you can't criticize Rob. He brought in Luka. He kind of brought in LeBron. He got DeAndre Ayton. He got all these guys, but like, come on. He got Luka Doncic because Nico Harrison decided to say, you know what? We don't actually want the top 5 player in the league. We don't want him. You can take him. We value defense over that. We don't want Luka Doncic. Like, it wasn't because Rob did anything right. Like, no. And with the Ayton signing, it wasn't like he pulled some strings and made some crazy maneuvers. Like, no. The Trailblazers bought him out. He was on the market. They signed him. Good for you. And then you have to get to the whole center thing, because for the last 3 years, the Lakers haven't really had a center besides Anthony Davis. And again, AD didn't want to play center. He kept saying, I want to have a center. I want to have a real center, a real center. And the Lakers were like, we don't need that. We don't need that. You should play center. We don't care about what you think. You should play center. We don't need a center. Do you want to know who the Lakers centers have been over the last 3 years since 2023? You got Wenyen Gabriel. You got Colin Castleton. Of course, you got Jackson Hayes. Bro just got a no trade clause. Like, no way. They had Alex Len, absolute legend. Trey Jemison III. I kind of like this guy, but like, dude, this is not an NBA center. You got Christian Koloko. I mean, big guy at Arizona, but in the NBA, different story. Harry Giles. I mean, this guy was a phenom at Duke. Big prospect, 5-star. In the NBA, not the same thing. Thomas Bryant, low-key, was kind of good with the Pacers, so I'll give you that, but for the Lakers, he didn't really do much. And then you got the legend himself, Mo Bamba. I mean, I bet Shaq thinks he's probably better than Wemby, but no. And then Damian Jones. I genuinely don't know who this guy is. I'm sorry. And the point of all this is, yes, the roster right now, it's not terrible. They have Luka, they have LeBron, they have Rui, Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton. They have a few guys on the bench. But the thing is, this is not a contender right now. I don't care how you slice it. You could say whatever you want. This team's defense is not there. The intensity's not there. LeBron's obviously older. They have a lot of issues on the roster. There's not young talent. There's no depth. It's not a perfect roster. And it kind of symbolizes the whole Rob Pelinka Lakers era because, yes, you have star players, you have big names, you have a roster that looks really good on paper, but in reality, it's not actually as good as you think it is because, yes, you have that big talent, but the roster isn't filled with depth. You don't have guys off the bench that are young, athletic, can just come in, hit threes. Like, no, you don't have that. It's very starting lineup reliant. You have a few big guys that carry the load, and then the bench is kind of meh. And yes, you can point to the Luka trade, you can point to the Ayton signing, the fact that they got LeBron, all these different things. If you look at this just step by step, you go through every single year as we just did, you can see that they've had a ton of opportunities to surround Luka, LeBron, Anthony Davis with talented players, good role players, and they just haven't done it. Like, the fact that you had LeBron and AD for 5-6 years and had one really good roster, like, that's just not good enough. Those two guys played really well. Obviously, they had injury concerns, but the only year that the injuries really cost them a championship was 2021. Like, I'm not saying they would have won it in 2021. That was a good team, though, so you can't really blame Rob for 2021, but overall, when you look at the whole thing, like the fact that you had two elite guys and now you have Luka and LeBron, two elite guys, and you're not really in the championship picture, like I think it says a lot about Rob. I'll put it like that. And again, you're going to have all the people saying, oh, well, it's LeBron making the decisions or Anthony Davis or Magic Johnson, Jeannie Buss, all these different things. So I'm not putting it all on Rob, but you're the GM of the team. You have control. You have the power. People can say whatever they want, but like you're the one in control. You need to make the decisions. You're the one responsible for drafting, for getting good players around Luka, LeBron, AD. Like this is your responsibility. And in my opinion, you just haven't done it. Like, I'm sorry. And obviously now they have new ownership. So we'll see if he lasts. We'll see how long it goes. We'll see how this offseason even pans out. So who knows about the whole situation, but in my opinion, I just feel like Rob has not done a good job. I know it gets kind of just washed away because they won the championship in 2020, but if you look at the Lakers from Kobe's Achilles injuries to now, if LeBron didn't sign there, you could make a good case that this franchise would be just in oblivion. Like, what have they done good in this time frame besides signing LeBron and winning that championship? And I know hypotheticals are dumb, so I'm not trying to play that game, but if LeBron didn't sign with the Lakers in 2018, how would the Lakers have done in the last 10 to 12 years? Would they have won anything? I don't think so.